Grow your food. Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
He denatures the food, takes the strength and the mineral strength out of it, and synthesizes it, puts it in a little pill, and brings you to the, what do they call that place? The health food store. So all of us going in the health food store, coming out with all these packages of pills. Every day, listen to your radio, listen to your TV. Are you tired? Well, you like sex? I mean, do you? You got to have this pill. This will really help you. It might overhelp you. So if that happens, run right away to your local doctor. Your great-grandfather didn't need no Viagra, brother. He just ate right. And some of our old folk, they was in their 80s and 90s making babies. Poor us. We're in our 40s and have trouble straightening things up. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's nice to say it in a way where we can laugh ourselves into better life. Dear brothers and sisters in truth, they have commercials on TV. If you take this pill, talking to men, and you start developing breasts, stop right away. And go to your doctor. What's the chemistry in a pill that will give a man breasts? About a year ago, they told me that my cancer was coming back. My PSA had jumped from 00 to 9 something. They said, Farrakhan, we can't find it. That's interesting. Because usually if you have prostate cancer, it will go to the bones. So they gave me a bone scan, ain't nothing there. They gave me a PET scan. They could not find any of my organs that lit up saying cancer's there. They did my brain, they did my lungs. They looked at my kidney, my pancreas. They couldn't find no cancer. But they said, now, we know it's there somewhere. We just can't see it yet. So we want you to take this shot. I had it once before. It's called Lupron. Any of you that have cancer, I'm saying this, don't be afraid to get tested. And the younger you do it, 38, 39, 40, the quicker you'll find out if you do have it and you can beat it. Cancer is not something that needs to take us out if we discover it early. And then be very firm in going after it. How many of you remember Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture? Let me see your hands if you, oh. See, Kwame Ture, he was diagnosed with cancer and he didn't go right away to fight it. And when he started to go after it, his PSA was through the roof. The cancer had broken out of the prostate and began to metastasize, and it got too far. He couldn't conquer it, and we lost a great man. We cannot afford to lose you. You are the world leaders, excuse me, of the young. So while you're growing in knowledge and your gifts and your skills, you have to take care of this.
That's right.
So here's what I'm suggesting. Number one, we really need to find out how to pool our resources. We have many millionaires and a few billionaires, but none of them get together to think about what to do to help our people. I'm suggesting to the art and culture community, first we got to stop the beefs. The beef is an enemy to our unity, and our disunity is an enemy to our overall progress. You cannot pool your resources with somebody you hate. So the hate that we do with one another, we got to stop it. So the wisest of you should set up conflict resolution. Because if you know that there's a beef, call the brothers together, squash it, because every one of us need a Rick Ross. We need a Meek Mills. We need a game. We need our people of substance. So you got to look past foolishness and stop a thing, and then let's sit down and see what can we do together that will build the love and respect in us for one another. Now here's what we're looking at. The richest land on earth is in Mississippi, in the Delta, where the Jews from Eastern Europe came, and they went right there, bought up land. You know they weren't going to work it. We worked the land for them. Now the young children of those that own the plantation, they don't want to work no plantation. So we want to give them an offer that they can't refuse. And the offer that they can't refuse is their face on a dollar bill. Ain't nothing but paper. But it's how you use it. Do you know America is for sale? If we had $50 million, we could have bought the FBI building in Washington because it was up for sale. And then they would rent it from us, and the money that, oh yeah, well, that's real, baby. See, the only real wealth is real wealth. It's not paper. It's land and what come up from the land. We got to own land in order to be economically free. And we'll never be economically free unless we pool resources and go back to the earth and own as much of it as we can. Dear brothers and sisters, when we came out of slavery, they said we had 16 million acres of land. Them slaves now, just set free. 16 million acres. That's 150 years ago. And 150 years later, we've lost 2/3 of the 16 million. We're down to a little under 4 million acres. And without land, you have no basis for economic development. Everything I got on, everything you got on, is from the earth. The animals, they would love to give you their wool. The cow would not mind you taking its hide. That's where these shoes go. No, these not, no, not this. And you know what? They take synthetic stuff and make our shoes or sneakers, whatever they call them. And how much they charge us for that? 160, 180. And Kanye got some stuff, man, that I don't know, that's off the chain. $600, $700, $800. And even more than that. Some of the stuff that he has is in the thousands. Well, the man is a young genius. But look at the division. I mean, Kanye loves Jay-Z, and Jay-Z and Beyonce helped him out. But suppose you all that got money sat down in a room and said, look, man, let's pool some money and go buy 10,000 acres of land in the Delta. Oh, man, 10,000 acres, that's a lot of land. It sure is, but not enough to feed 50 million of us. We figured it out how many millions of acres we would need to feed 50 million of us. It's about 200 million acres. The whole of California, if we owned it, it would take care of 50 million of us. So you got to think about the future. Ain't no, now Hillary, oh bless her little heart. You know she loves you. She's as sweet as she wants to be when she wants to be that way. But she's as deadly as the deadliest viper if you cross her. I saw something on a crawl today on the TV. Putin says, if Hillary's elected, it means war. She got more kahunas than the other fella. She's more experienced. And she knows the way of the world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you can play this political game, but we always end up losing. So pooling your resources and buying land. And what we're going to announce, if it's the will of Allah on Sunday, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we ought to build our own political machine. He didn't use the word party, have your own political party, but that's going to flow from having your own political machine. What does a political machine do? Here we are in Atlanta. This is one of the finest cities in America. We got a lot of rich black folk here. We ain't got no factories, do we? Well, the little man here, we haven't provided a job for him. How can our people be what they should be under an educational system rooted in white supremacy? Come on. If you're going to teach your children the same old stupidness that we were taught, they'll be just as stupid as we are. And I'm not putting us down, but we haven't done too much of nothing to advance us as a people. So what kind of education did we get if that education does not make us able to supply our own needs? Come on now, brothers and sisters. We are in colonial status. You know what that is? Colonial status? You're segregated. White folk tell you where they want you to live. And if where you are, they want it, they move you right on out. You're like dust. You know, dust is so easy to move. All you need is a little rag. And I hear that they want the bluff now. Because they're building this new dome and a direct shot from the bluff to the dome. See, in every major city, they want the cities back. And we're standing in the way of getting the cities back. Suppose, instead of a colonial status, we started thinking like the Koreans, like the Jews, like the Italians, like those who run where they live. Do you run where you live? I don't think so. See, you know how they rule us? Through the people that we look up to. Reverend so-and-so, you go downtown when he wants something. A black mayor doesn't mean things are different. Can I get a witness? You've had some of the best black mayors that we've ever had. In Andrew Young and Maynard Jackson. Two wonderful brothers. But how has the condition of the masses changed? Come on. Andy was so proficient as a UN ambassador or a man that knows the world. He could have put us in touch with our family all over the world, setting up trade and commerce with us, with Africa, us with the Caribbean, us with Asia. But all of that, the money from that part of the world came back to Atlanta, but not to you. Now, some of us did get some jobs when the Olympics came, right? And a few of us were made millionaires. And that's good. In Washington, D.C., Mayor Barry made many black millionaires because he shot to the black people contracts to do A, B, and C, and we performed, and the money came to us. And that's why he could smoke all the crack he wanted. And he could romance any sister that he wanted as long as he kept taking care of the black community. And that's why he could go to jail and come back out and be mayor one more time. Because the people knew he was their man. Now, I'm going to say something in closing that I'm going to be like Donald Trump. No, in this way. In the debate, Donald said, I don't want to say it. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. You know, we had great hope in Brother Barack. He was really our hope. A beautiful black man. No, I mean, that man, he touched us in a way that no black person ever touched us before Barack. We loved Mr. Garvey. We loved Noble Drew Ali. But there never was a leader that had the love of the people to the degree that Barack Obama gained our love. Would you say that's true? Now, I went out and voted for my brother, and I know that Hillary had him to diss me. You remember? You do? Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I said something nice about the brother. And Hillary wanted to be president then, if you recall. And Tim Russert, you know, I understand that Farrakhan. See, they made me the litmus test for anybody that wants national office. The only way you can get there is you got to renounce Farrakhan. So they put Brother Barack in that bag. And they made him say, well, no, I don't want his support, blah, 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 blah. But I told all those with me, I said, don't you keep your support from him. No, you give it to him because he is being manipulated by the Jewish man from the Washington Post who made Farrakhan the litmus test. So did you know that I have a picture with me and Barack? You've never seen it because I never would put it out. It's me and Barack shaking hands. Because I knew that if I ever let that go out, they would use that to hurt that brother, so you never saw it. Barack moved into the neighborhood where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's national house is. And one day he knocked on my door. When the brother went to the door, it was Barack. Oh, we couldn't tell him, do you have an appointment? Brother came in, and I was real happy to see my brother. And we sat down. He was Senator Obama then. We helped him to become senator. Big time. So when he came, he sat. This is our conversation. I've never said it publicly. I'm not saying it to be put on the news. And I'm not interested in you, my Twitter army, using this. When I get ready to make it public, which I'm about to do, but I don't really want you to misuse it and hurt that man. But when he sat down, he said, oh, Minister, I just moved in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd come by and let you know that I'm in the community, and I don't have furniture in my house right now, but when we get that furniture, I'd like to invite you over so we can have coffee together. I said, that's fine, brother. I really appreciate that. But I have furniture, you know, we can have coffee too here. He said, Brother Farrakhan, the black vote is what made me have the victory in Chicago. But it was the downstate vote that made me a U.S. Senator. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you? You don't know what the downstate vote is, do you? Can you think about it? Who lives downstate? So he was telling me the black vote made me win in Chicago, but it's the white vote that helped me to become a U.S. Senator. And he said, Brother Farrakhan, I'm not going to do anything that would cause me to lose that downstate vote. So I said to him, brother, your reality is not mine. And I respect your reality, so we would never ask you to do anything that will cause you to lose the downstate vote, because we need you where you are. And we shook hands. And he left. A little over a year after that, or less, he was running for the presidency. Now, running for the presidency, that man couldn't make it to be president if he didn't denounce me on Meet the Press. Now, I'm saying that to say this. If I were a small-minded man, I would have been angry and wanted to retaliate and tell him, you got to put some, some respect on my name. But God has blessed me, brothers and sisters, to always see that there is a bigger picture. Jesse Jackson, when he was running for president, he asked me to help him. Now, those that were around me at that time, they may not have wanted me to help Reverend Jackson, but Reverend Jackson at that time, to me, was the bigger picture. I wasn't well known at that time. In fact, it was Reverend Jackson who pulled me out because I was trying to rebuild Elijah Muhammad's work, and I worked for 7 years underground. Underground. Because my teacher said, a wise teacher too, Elijah Muhammad. He used simple words. He said, brother, when a seed germinates in the earth, it sends a root down long before it sends a shoot up. So in rebuilding his work, I knew I had to go down in the hood and start building roots in the people so that when the little shoot came up, they would not be able to disturb it. So when you really want to be successful, you don't call a press conference. You do what you got to do, and you be what it be. So, I'm saying all of that to say this. It was Reverend Jackson who said, Farrakhan, you can't hold this wisdom that you have from the public. And when he asked me to help him, that was the first time in 7 years that I talked to the media. Now, I don't know how to be a surrogate. I'm sorry. I really tried. No, I'm serious now. You know, I've been kicking white folks behind for all these years. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to finesse that thing, you know. But he asked me to help him, and I did help him, but I was kicking, you know. And I would tell him, I would be at push. I said, now I'm going to help my brother, but if this thing don't work, I got something in my back pocket, which was always the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's program. Separate and do something for yourself. So when Jesse denounced me, he was the bigger picture. And I never, ever asked anyone with me to throw their support away from Reverend Jackson. That's a fact. We protected him from the Jewish Defense League. We protected his family, all the FOI. He's my brother. And it was his time to shine, not mine. And when you see somebody in the light, and it's their season, what do? Do you try to throw dust on the person? Do you try to shield him by saying ugly things about him or her? No. Hush your mouth. If it's not your season, help the one that's in season. So it was Barack